For I know very well how foolish it sounds to those who are lost when they hear that Jesus died to save them. So what about these wise men, these scholars, these brilliant debaters of this world's great affairs, when we preach about Christ dying to save them? The Jews are offended, and the Gentiles say it's all nonsense. For God in his wisdom saw to it that the world would never find Elohim, would never find God through human brilliance. And then he stepped in and saved all those who believe this message, which the world calls foolish and silly. Chapter 46. And there I saw one who had a head of days, and his head was white like wool, and with him was another being, whose face had the appearance of a man, and his face was full of graciousness, like one of the holy angels. And I asked the angel who went with me, and showed me all of these hidden things, concerning that Son of Man, who he was, where he came from, and why he went with the head of days. And he answered and said unto me, This is the Son of Man, who has righteousness, with whom dwells righteousness, and who reveals all the treasures of that which is hidden, because Yahweh Elohim has chosen him, and whose lot has been preeminent before Yahweh Elohim in uprightness forever. And this Son of Man, who you have seen, shall raise up the kings and the mighties from their seats, and the strong from their thrones, and shall loosen the reins of the strong, and shall break the teeth of the sinners. And he shall put down the kings from their thrones and kingdoms, because they do not extol or acknowledge or praise him, nor humbly acknowledge where the kingdom was bestowed upon them. So this head of days, that's identical to just like Daniel, Revelations, and Ezekiel and Isaiah. It showed the throne of the Almighty, the Creator, the Most High. One of the first books ever written, Enoch was given a glimpse of the throne of heaven open, just like in Revelations chapter 4, where he saw the throne of the Most High Creator, and he had a book in his hand, and an angel cried out, Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And there was found no man in heaven, nor in earth or under the earth, that was worthy to open the book and to loose the seals. And one of the angels said, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, he has prevailed to open the book and to loose the seven seals. And I beheld in the midst of the throne stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into all the earth. And he came and he took the scroll out of the hand of him who sat on the throne. He's going to receive the kingdom, just like Daniel talked about. Enoch, the very first book, spoke about this. But what I really wanted to talk about was, and he reveals the treasures of that which is hidden. Because just like Yahusha, Jesus said when he asked all his 12 disciples, Who do you think that I am? And Peter answered, You are the Son of the living God, the Creator. Yahusha, Jesus said to him, It was the Father who gave you this wisdom. It also says that he will teach us all things. The wisdom of this world is foolishness to God, and the wisdom of God is foolishness to men. For I know very well how foolish it sounds to those who are lost when they hear that Jesus died to save them. But we who are saved recognize this message as the very power of Elohim, power of God. For God says, I will destroy all human plans of salvation, no matter how wise they seem to be, and ignore the best ideas of men, even the most brilliant of them. So what about these wise men, these scholars, these brilliant debaters of this world's great affairs? God has made them all look foolish and shown their wisdom to be useless nonsense, worthless rubble. For God in his wisdom saw to it that the world would never find Elohim, would never find God through human brilliance. And then he stepped in and saved all those who believe this message, which the world calls foolish and silly. It seems foolish to the Jews because They want a sign from heaven as proof that what is preached is true. And it is foolish to the Gentiles, that's all the other nations, because they believe only what agrees with their philosophies, what seems wise to them in their science. So when we preach about Christ dying on the cross to save them, the Jews are offended and the Gentiles say it's all nonsense. But God has opened the eyes of those called to salvation, both Jews and Gentiles, to see that Christ is the mighty power of God to save them. Christ himself is the center of God's wise plan for their salvation. This so-called foolish plan of God is far wiser than the wisest plans of the wisest man. And God in his weakness, which is Christ dying on that cross, is far stronger than any man. This was 1 Corinthians 1:18 through 25. It absolutely coincides with the Book of Enoch. It all goes hand in hand. And he who reveals all the treasures of that which is hidden. I want to read another place, which is in chapter 48. And I saw in that place a fountain of righteousness, which was inexhaustible. And around it were many fountains of wisdom, and all the thirsty drank from them. And they were filled with wisdom. And their dwellings were with the righteous, and the holy, and the elect. Here it comes. And that hour that Son of Man was named in the presence of Yahweh Elohim, and his name before the head of days, yes, before the sun and the signs were created, before the stars of the heaven were made. His name was named before Yahweh Elohim, and he shall be a staff to the righteous, whereon to hold themselves and not fall. It says at other various places in the Old and New Testament that we hang ourselves on his words, and that he shall be the light to the Gentiles. He refers to himself as the light all the time. Yahusha does in the New Testament, all the Gospels. And the hope of those who are troubled of heart. And all who dwell on the earth shall fall down and worship before him. And it says, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Those also who pierced him, they will see him on that day. This is one consistent message, and it's all unified. They will all fall down and worship before him, and will praise and bless and celebrate with song Yahweh Elohim. Oh, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive glory and honor and power and riches and strength and thanksgiving and blessing and wisdom. For he was slain, so it's his rightful place to take his place as the king, because he did it. He sacrificed himself for all of humanity. That's why he is the worthy one. Nobody else is, in heaven or earth or anywhere else. And for this reason has he been chosen and was hidden before him. See, he was hidden beforehand. Otherwise, it says that the evil forces would have never killed the King of Glory if they knew the result, that mankind would be saved because of it. And the wisdom of Yahweh Elohim has revealed him to the holy and to the righteous. See, his spirit working through us reveals the wisdom, and it lets us know what's true and what is in error. And if it all lines up and it's all one unified message, then we can count on these prophecies, and it can guide us through these trying times of great tribulation. All the world has no idea what to do, but we do, because he didn't leave us in the dark. He left us with his guiding light to show us the way. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe if you aren't already, if I've earned your subscription.